Welcome to Leadership Devotionals. For today, we will be continuing our study on the lessons that Nehemiah has given to us with regards to leadership. We are in fact on the 11th installment already, and the subtopic for this is focus, singleness of purpose. Nehemiah shows us that singleness of purpose can achieve so much. He did not stop to deal with external opposition. When the external opposition tried to entice him, tried to threaten him, he just dug in some more and continued with the work on building the walls of Jerusalem. He started with the end in mind. God has given him a vision, and in that vision, he can foresee the walls of Jerusalem being rebuilt, the gates being restored, and with that picture, with that vision, as the end point of what he's doing, it motivates him to continue on with the job. But as he witnessed the internal damage being done, he was likewise prepared to deal with an issue that could slowly eat up on the project. You see, some of the wealthier people were profiting by selling food to the poorer families involved in building the project. And many poor folks had to sell their families into slavery simply to pay off the resulting obligations. This is so sad. Some people were taking advantage of the situation and profiting and getting an advantage out of it for their own self-aggrandizement. And we know that Nehemiah was not naive about this. He confronted the business practices of those taking advantage of the poor, and he brought an end to the practice of charging interest. Learning is the essential fuel of the leader and the source of continually sparking new understanding, new ideas, new challenges. Very simply, those who do not learn do not long survive to be as leaders. We know that Nehemiah, as his backgrounder, he was a servant. He was just there serving the king of Persia, tasting the beverages that are being served to the emperor. But Nehemiah was a teachable leader. Nehemiah was an insightful leader. And he was learning day by day as he continued to lead the people in rebuilding the walls, even addressing certain issues that might eat up on the morale of the workforce. And so, learning, we are admonished here, is the essential fuel of the leader. It does not mean because you're the leader, you know everything. You also learn from your people as much as they learn from you. And it is the source of the continuous spark in you, for new wisdom, for new ideas, for new challenges, for new understanding. And when we are sensitive to that, we will continue to survive, we will continue to adapt, and we will continue to be leaders because we know how to learn and be adaptive to the situation. The most often quoted words of Nehemiah come in the final days of the wall building. He did not slacken the pace or ease off the task. When his enemies sought to entice him away from his mission, he answered back and said, I am carrying on a great project and cannot go down. Why should the work stop while I leave it and go down to you? This was his answer, and this is recorded in Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 3. And further, when his enemies cannot entice him to go down to them, they created a conspiracy. The pressure intensified as he was told of the conspiracy afoot to destroy him. A remarkable scenario unfolds in this biblical narrative. A planted and treacherous informer whispered to Nehemiah and encouraged him to run to the temple for safety, for his own safety, when in fact, if he ran there, if he went there, if he hid there, there was already an assassin waiting for him there to take his life and end his work. His response to this treacherous act was memorable. "Should such a man as I flee?" That's what he answered. "And who is there, such as I, who should go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in." He was so adamant. "Should such a man as I flee?" That's recorded in Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 11. Nehemiah's account reveals that Eliashib, the priest, later actually provided a room in the temple courts for Tobiah, Nehemiah's arch enemy. And so we can see here the resolve, the focus, the singleness of purpose of Nehemiah. Even though external opposition would try to waver him, even though internal treacherous plans are there whispered to him, his focus was resolute. His singleness of purpose was there for the task in hand. Nehemiah carried out his work in the midst of treachery that likely included even the cooperation of his own people, of temple leaders. But we know that God was with Nehemiah because of his commitment to his task, because of his focus, because of his singleness of purpose. God honored his faith. God honored his servant, and he protected him. That's why he can answer and say, "I will not go in. Why should the work stop if I have to go down to you?" These brave words were not only spoken by the servant leader Nehemiah, but I am sure, the prayerful man that he is, I am sure he offered a quick prayer in situations like this, just as the time when he was there right in front of King Artaxerxes. It's the Holy Spirit who would have given him the courage and the right words to say. Fellow leaders, let's be like Nehemiah, with a singleness of purpose, with a focus on the vision, and living a prayerful life. With that, the Holy Spirit will empower you just as it did with Nehemiah. God bless you. Hello, fellow leaders. If you have been blessed with the devotional that you have just heard, don't forget to like, share, or subscribe. Because when you do that, more people, more leaders will be blessed with the same blessing that you have experienced. In YouTube channel, click subscribe to Good Shepherd Consultants. God bless you.